Hello, folks. Welcome back to another Paylune resource walkthrough. Today, we're going to look at FiveCAD, which is Paylune's computer-aided dispatch system for police, EMS, fire, tow, and dispatcher roleplay. In addition, there's also some civilian functions as well. So, to get started, hit F7 on your keyboard. That is the default keybind for the CAD. However, that is configurable the actual config for the resource. Here you can open a phone menu. The title is also configurable here, so don't worry, it doesn't have to say Payloon's CAD. And you can see two options are available to me. When I have no role, open CAD and call 911. Of course, call 911 would make a request out to emergency services. We'll go over that in just a second. But if I hit open CAD, you'll notice if I had not picked a role, I have 6 to choose from here. These, of course, are permission based, so you only have permission to pick the roles that you've been granted. You'll notice here down at the bottom it says logged in as Cheddar. That is my actual in-game name here. And this is really cool because you don't have to register or log in or type in a certain code to start using the CAD system. It's just all integrated and completely standalone. I should also mention that there's no subscription here. So like once you've bought the resource, it's completely yours. Once again, available over at www.paylune.com. Okay, I'm gonna jump into some civilian functions here. We'll see if I click civilian, I get a little headshot of my character. Here are my vehicles. I have nothing registered at the moment. No citations, no warnings, no arrest reports. Citations, warnings, and arrest reports will populate, as I actually get citations from officers in the CAD. But for the time being, let's show off some registration bits. So if I actually go over here to the road and type in /adder, this is a development command I have just to show you this. But notice the plate here. So completely random, of course. This was not set up. But that 010QE004, if I actually go back to the CAD system and go to civilian, you'll see that vehicle's already registered to me. There's no, oh, I gotta like define what the make of the vehicle is. I have to do this, I have to do that. No, it just works. It's all in here. Here's the actual model and make, and then the license plate number as well. Then like a little screenshot of what that vehicle actually looks like. I can report this stolen, of course, which is going to tell the police, hey, this vehicle's stolen. If they ever run the plate, I can mark it as recovered as well. So pretty cool here, just for this actual vehicle piece. I'll report it stolen for now, just so that way it's something to show later. And I'm going to go back to role select. Now I'm going to choose the police role here because I actually have permission to this police role. You'll see we're going to be jumping into a CAD system here. At the top left, we can see any active calls. As of right now, there are no active calls. I see that the police unit is available. I'm 10-8 in service. I can change my actual status here in the top left. I can say I'm busy, not available for calls. I'm en route to something, on scene, etc. This is going to help if you have anyone in your actual server playing dispatch because you'll only be able to assign available units to calls. Great. If I go over here to below, you'll see as soon as I click in this, all the vehicles on the server, it's going to populate, and these will disappear as well as people despawn things. And I can actually record a bolo for a vehicle if I wanted to. Maybe more interestingly, if I go to lookup, I can go to vehicle, and if I look at this vehicle, yep, here we go. This is owned by Cheddar. Yep, here's all the details. It actually was marked stolen, so my actual civilian action persisted there. I can mark it as impounded too. If I wanted to. Of course, it's just as easy to unmark that. The bolo function is quite cool for vehicles. So if I say, wanted for, I don't know, reckless driving, any officer that sees this vehicle on the road is going to see on their map, if they have the vehicle within their line of sight, the actual boloed vehicle. So this will blink, and so it's, I think, every 8 seconds here that we'll try to see if the vehicle is around, and that'll show up for all officers on the map if the vehicle is spotted. So that's pretty cool. You'll notice I have a badge above my actual character now. This indicates that I'm the police. The distance above your head is configurable in case you have any other like name tags or something like that. And also you can just turn the badges off if you don't want them. As I switch roles actually in the CAD system, that badge will change as well. So if I go 10-7, meaning, I'm no longer available and I've, walked off, I can go like EMS, for example. You'll see that badge updates as expected. So, yeah, quite cool. Something I should mention about the CAD is you'll only be able to see calls that are applicable to your role. So when someone calls 911 through the menu, um, they can request police, EMS, and fire, and then hit call 911. If I only request police, for example, and hit call 911, I'm going to enter a reason for my call. Maybe, I don't like noise complaint or something like that. I'm not sure. It's going to place that emergency call. All officers online, or I should say all personnel that are relevant to that call, will be notified saying that, a call was placed and by who, along with a call priority and the reason. And if I go back into the CAD system, maybe I should drive away a little bit um, just for this demonstration here. So let's go all the way over here. Okay, and to go back into the CAD system, you'll see that if I actually look at the top of the map, here's that call on the map, and because it's a medium, it's got this kind of yellow. I can change the priority of a call, so I can make it high priority or even critical. And if you make a call critical, everyone in the game that is, a requested personnel in that call will receive this critical alert with a distinct sound. So that way, they can actually respond. If I click on the call now, I can say, okay, I'm going to assign myself to this call. Of course, dispatchers can assign folks as well. And when I'm assigned, I'll say that I've been assigned to that critical call with the call number, and then I actually get a map over to that call where it was initially put in. So those calls appear on the map just like this. Okay, cool. So now I could go respond to that call. I could add notes about it. So let's say, neighbor is having a loud party, and everyone else on this call will see these notes as well, which is great. I could finish the call up if I'm done, but before I do that, let's say we need to request someone else, maybe EMS. So I'm going to actually go over to my other FiveM instance here, and let me turn off my mic there. Okay. Let's see. One moment. Off voice chat. Okay. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. If I go into the CAD here and I am EMS, let's say, I'm actually going to drive away as well, a different vehicle, just for the sake of showing this example. Okay, now if I switch back, you'll see that on my map, I actually see where that EMS is. So something else, all personnel on the actual server will be able to see each other on this map, which is great. And I could say, hey, I want EMS on this call. And as soon as I request EMS, the EMS requested for critical call, and then I can actually go into my CAD menu here, and I will see, hey, there's that call. I can assign myself to this as well, and now I'm also en route to the call. So once I finish with the call, I can hit finish with the call. You'll see it's still here because someone's still on the call. So if I go back to my other FiveM instance, I can say, hey, I'm finished, and that call disappears. Completed calls can be seen at the bottom here. So you can see, some filters. You can search by call number, reason, or personnel that were on that call. You can, of course, see the history. I could say, hey, I'm going to sort by just maybe some high calls. In this case, we have none. So, it's a way to do that. Okay. So you'll see here, this actually was a panic call, and that's a good call out. All police have access to a panic button. So let's say you are, in a fight or something like that, or in maybe a shootout. You can hit F7 and hit panic from here, or you can do it in the CAD. I'll do it in the CAD just for the sake of showing this. I've hit panic. A critical call will go out to all police and EMS with my location. And, then everyone can respond accordingly as well, just like that. So yes, that works great. And I could assign myself. I could say I'm finished with the call, whatever it may be. So cool. Now I can get into some more functions here. We can set warrants out for certain players. So I could say, like murder or something like that, right? Record warrants like that. Citations, maybe for speeding. And written warnings as well. There's also arrest records. And when you look up a player, you can actually see information about them. So you can see they have active warrants, there's their bolos, what they're for, and their vehicles that are registered to them. And one is actually marked stolen. And then also their citations here. So you'll be able to kind of see everything in this view. If we made a new call from the CAD, which you can do by going to the top right and hitting new call, I could say, I have a stranded vehicle. Maybe I just need police for this for now. Um, and that call get created. And then actually in the top right, I could request like tow, for example, if I wanted to. And that would notify tow operators in the game. So those are just some of the functions. Of course, this is like a little slimmed down depending on your role. So like if you're in fire, I might have like a house fire, and maybe it's a high priority. You have different options here for like patient reports, selecting a patient, maybe their status, and then where they're being transported if they, have like smoke inhalation or whatever, right? And then fire types, of course, you can make a note real quickly by just selecting a fire type. Um, so all like quite similar as far as like functionality goes. Dispatchers have a little bit more because they don't appear on the map, but they can click on personnel and assign them to things. Like if I have a new 911 call for, I don't know, let's say like unconscious person. I can't make a 911 call for 10 minutes. That's actually an important call out. There are delays between how often 911 calls can be made by a player and how often an officer can panic. Those are also configurable as well, so they could be shorter delays if you so choose. I'll make a call from over here, and I'll say 911. You can do this through the chat, and I can say, I don't know, yeah, unconscious person. I know I'm the person making this call as EMS, but regardless, like as a dispatcher, then I can open up the CAD system, and I can click on the EMS personnel, and it'll select them for assignment. And then I could assign my selected, personnel, and that'll put them right on that call, and they'll get the notification saying, "Hey, you've been assigned. Go handle this." Um, so that is about it for the CAD system as a whole. I should mention one more thing, that all the actual bolos, warrants, citations, warnings, and arrest records, all that persists through server restarts. So let's say you are a criminal, you could start building up kind of like a record. And you don't have to worry about things like server restarts getting rid of your data. Of course, the calls are temporary and they'll last for as long as the server is online at particular session. If you have any other questions about FiveCAD, we're happy to answer those over in our Discord channel over at discord.gg/Paylune.